Throughout time, there has been this pervasive idea of sacrifice.
Sacrifice. To give up something of value in order to appease a greater power.
So what do you think about that? Sacrifice.
Sacrifice? It's required by God. We're to give of our abundance to satisfy the law. When we sacrifice our worldly goods to God, He'll take care of our worldly needs. It's the law.
Sacrifice. Sacrifice is what you do for your kids and for your spouse. You give up your dreams so you can take care of your responsibilities. You sacrifice your needs for the needs of someone else. I mean, you love them and all, but it's still a sacrifice.
Sacrifice. I have to say we don't believe in it. What you give, you receive. Ancient man gave worldly to receive worldly. Modern man, she gives her energy, maybe not to her dreams, but whatever she gives it to, it returns to her.
Jesus said, the only sacrifice God ever asks of us is our heart. To give up our will to God's will.
But is that truly a sacrifice? You're not giving up something of value to appease a greater power. You're giving up something of value to receive something of much greater value.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of concepts here. Sin and forgiveness and prayer. But what about the human condition? This one is a little bit more complicated.
Jesus passed by. He saw a man who was blind from birth. And his disciples asked him, Master, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? John 9, 1 through 2.
Of course someone had to have sinned against God. That's how God punishes. When you're bad, you'll suffer. If you break the law, you'll suffer. We've heard it time and time again. If you don't follow the law, you will be punished. Look at our ancestors. God was forever bringing them wars because they wouldn't follow the law. No one's exempt. Not even King David himself. God took David's son from him when he sinned. Yeah, someone had to have done something.
We know sometimes things just happen. There was obviously a genetic flaw that allowed this child's eye not to develop properly. It's no one's fault. We can't control it. Science is trying to heal it, though. I mean, it's just like Jesus did. Nobody sinned. That's just crazy.
Things never just happen. There are laws of attraction, cause and effect. We might not understand all the details, but for some reason, this boy's soul chose to have this experience in this lifetime. Only he knows. Maybe it's to settle another debt. Maybe it's to fine-tune another skill or a sense. You know, in our world, there's a lot of opportunities. Maybe he will choose to have his sight restored. The soul is learning, and it learns through its experiences. And the soul will always choose what it needs to learn.
We cannot look upon a single span of life and judge of anything. A cause may be a part of one brief life, results may not be noted till another life. The law of all eternities is known to master mind. I cannot reap except I sow, and I must reap whatever I sow. Aquarian 114.
Yeah, Jesus taught us that our actions, as well as our thoughts, create our experiences. It's not that we can get away with anything. We create, we experience. No matter this lifetime or the next, it will be balanced. We really need to take a chance to examine the effects of our creations. Therefore, we get to experience our creations. The choice is ours.
Okay, so now, what is truth?
Truth? The Word of God.
No, truth is the word of science.
God.
Who was Jesus the Christ?
Who? Never heard of him.
Well, they say he was the Son of God.
He taught me that I am the Son of God.
All right, so now you can see God and the teachings of Christ and the evolution of them. Do any of these beliefs and these three examples, are they any of your human thought? Have you ever been bound by your belief in the laws of man? Have you ever been limited by your beliefs in the laws of science? Have you ever truly felt that you were a child of God? Maybe you see yourself in all three up here. As we continue to strive metaphysically, we truly learn how much we do not know. But we do know that we're seeking a closer union with God our Father, our Mother. We don't create laws like ancient man here that would bind our beliefs into one single perception. No. Metaphysically, we grow, we evolve. From one decade to the next, we evolve. So today, we believe
God is in us all. God is creator of all things and speaks to each human heart daily. Prayer is a chance for us to connect with God, to hear His presence, be a part of His presence, and listen to His guidance. There is no sin, only choices. We choose to walk towards God, we choose to walk away from God. We create what we experience. Eventually, we all walk home to God again. Forgiveness is a way to experience love. Grace is a way to share love with the world. The only sacrifice we need is a willing heart and mind to connect with God's will. We get to experience life on this earth. God is love, truth, and all sustaining of our dreams. I am the child of a loving, providing Father, Mother, God. We all are children of God.
it is with anticipation and excitement that we open to a greater understanding of God, to know greater and truer who Jesus the Christ was, and ultimately to know who we are. Metaphysically, we are teachable, but we know that the answers that we have right now are going to pale in comparison to the greater God that we're going to learn and experience as we evolve in our consciousness. And I don't know about you, but I await that moment. The end.
I hope you all enjoyed seeing the different ideas. And I know that as you see them, did you resonate more with the modern or the metaphysical? Oh, yeah. And you all went, oh, that ancient man. Oh, so ancient, not a part of my consciousness. Yeah, no. I am continually amazed. Patrick and I have had the opportunity for 20 years to counsel and to work with people, and we're continually amazed at how many people believe they have to suffer. This isn't what we believe. Our seminary class, the one I'm currently teaching, is going through the New Testament, and we did a great job as we went through the Gospels. Well, now we're into the rest of the books. And some of the beliefs are so limiting and so pervasive of our human consciousness that we're not even aware of them. Oh, this is why we judge. Jesus said, don't judge. But the consciousness of the times of the ancient world, they were told to judge in some of the books subsequent to the Gospels. Do you see? Some of the teachings as they began to grow the Christian church became limited and less introspective and more outer aware. And we have not evolved from that. This ancient man that Patrick demonstrated from us is still seated in who we are. And it's our opportunity to lift up and see the infinite potentials. And we start by seeing the modern man, where this vast knowledge has been flowing through us, this wonderful capacity to create wonderful miracles, and then begin to acknowledge where are those ideas coming from. A higher self, one connected with the divine, one that understands spirit, and begin to marry that energy so that we don't leave our perception of God in the past, but we bring it into today. When you inventory your beliefs, if you sat down and inventoried what you believe about God, if you haven't been one of my students. If you inventory what you believe about God, you will be amazed at how much of what you write down is reflected in the character of Patrick. How much you still believe that you will be punished. How much you still believe that you can sin. How much you still believe that forgiveness is only available to a few. We have to consciously move into a conscious relationship with a God that is, as David said, active and a part of us. One that never judges us. God doesn't forgive because God doesn't judge. It's a loving, pervasive energy of Creator that lets us create. How simple is that? Yeah, when we do something silly, or we stub our toe, or we do something crazy, do we not tend to go back into feeling separate, and into feeling that we're being judged, and into feeling this limited consciousness? My seminary students have also asked me, why do you make us study the Bible? We don't want to. Past the Gospels. Because it's limiting and harsh. It gets harsher. And the reality is, if we don't study it, we can't unhook it. But to look at it with honor, and to look at where our history came, what was coming through our history, these were people who were trying to love God to the best of their ability. And as we look at that and honor them and say, I'm glad you did it because it brought me to this moment, so now we can grow beyond it. You see? Instead of saying that is the final and ultimate word of God, it is the word that they accepted and could incorporate in their time-space sequence, which was 2,000 years ago. And now we stand here with divine mind pouring through so many creative beings and hearts opening. Now we can take this teaching of this Creator into a higher realm and honor all those that laid the path to bring us to this moment, but not hold them as the ultimate. Do you see? I heard one speaker once say that every major religion has failed. Christianity, Muslim, every religion on the earth has failed because not one major religion has taken us to a space of peace. And isn't that the ultimate goal of every religion? To take us to a space where we can find peace in our heart. And the reason that these religions haven't taken us there is because they've stopped their evolution. And it's time for us to move on. We're in the beautiful Aquarian age, we're in the beautiful age of enlightenment, we're in the beautiful age of download of divine mind and the opening of hearts. And we need to evolve our perception of God in the process. Got it?